Good morning class, my name is Nazia Ishfaq and I am your course instructor for the course of psychopathology for this semester. And today it's our 10th lecture for this semester, and the topic we're going to cover today is another disorder of childhood and adolescence, particularly known as elimination disorders. So in today's class we're going to discuss what basically elimination disorders are. We're going to discuss various types of these disorders. Then we briefly discussed why this disorder is caused and what are the different factors for this associated, and then we'll briefly have a look at the treatment options for this disorders. So if we start with the term elimination, which is the basic name of this disorders, the term elimination in simple English language means to discard something or to remove something. Now we're going to see what is we are going to discuss in this disorder when we say remove or discard. As we've already discussed that this disorder is related to children and adolescents, and here in this disorder what particularly are we talking about discarding or removing or eliminating is the biological physiological perspective of the human body, and that is urine and feces. So basically this disorder comprises when there is malfunctioning in removal or discardation or elimination of feces or urination from the body of the child and adolescent. Now this is the basic crux of this disorder, and now we're going to have a detailed look of what this disorder comprises. First of all, we're going to start with the basic definition that elimination disorders is when eliminate waste appropriately, repeatedly void feces or urine in inappropriate places or at inappropriate times. So to begin with this disorder, the basic thing you need to understand, I discussed elimination part, now we need to discuss that when this elimination is going to be converted into a disorder. To be converted into a disorder, it needs two things. First thing it needs is that elimination occurs repeatedly like more than the required times and at inappropriate places. Like for example, if the child or adolescent is passing his urine or feces in his clothes, in his bed, in social settings, and he has no control over all this behavior, then this behavior is going to be considered as abnormal or pathological, and this applies for both feces and urine. Okay, now we'll briefly see what are the two types. So basically elimination disorders has two types. There are two classes of elimination disorders. The first one is encopresis and the second one is enuresis. Now encopresis is related to feces. In this disorder, feces is passed at infrequent times and at infrequent places, or for example, if you look closely at this slide, it also mentioned that places other than toilet, that the child is not using toilet or is not passing his feces in toilet and passes in his clothes or in floor or other social situations where he is not trained to do so or where he is not required to do so. And then the second type of elimination disorders is enuresis, which is particularly related to passing of urine, and the same criteria as encopresis has, that repeated passing and at inappropriate places and inappropriate times. Okay, now we'll see these disorders somewhat in more detail. We'll start with enuresis. Enuresis is basically diagnosed when urine is passed repeatedly at inappropriate. Remember class, you have to have two things until you diagnose these disorders: inappropriate places and inappropriate time. If both of these are not met, you cannot fully diagnose this disorder. You have to wait if both these two are shown in that child or in that adolescent. So coming back to enuresis, it's repeatedly urinate in inappropriate places, again such as clothing, and it could be bed, it could be any floor, it could be anything except for the toilet. And the times is that he is doing it all the time, like it could be during the day also, it could be during the time also, it could be both the time. And the problem is such that the child is not able to control this problem. He has no control over this, and he is not able to control his behavior or to manage his behavior of this urination. Now we'll see types of enuresis. So basically there are 3 types of enuresis. Like we started with the elimination disorders. The elimination disorders is 2 types, encopresis and enupresis. Then we have subtypes of enuresis, and there are basically 3 types of enuresis. First one is nocturnal. Nocturnal is when the symptoms are shown only at night time. Then it's diurnal, when symptoms are shown only at daytime. And then the third time is nocturnal and diurnal, when symptoms are shown both at the daytime and also the night time. Then we'll see why, when are you going to, or how are you going to diagnose this disorder. So basically, for a child or an adolescent to diagnose this disorder, you need, there's a basically specific criteria which DSM-5 has given us. And that specific criteria requires regularity. The first thing is regularity, like the symptoms should not be shown sometimes. They should be shown regularly, consecutively, for at least twice a week for 3 consecutive months. कि मुस्तकिल 3 माह तक हफ्ते में कम से कम 2 बार तक अगर वो ये सारा बिहेवियर शो कर रहा है, ठीक है, कि ही इज़ पासिंग हिज urine in clothes and he's making his bed dirty or inappropriate times and places, then you can diagnose this disorder. Again, I would make it very emphasize this, that you cannot clinically diagnose this disorder without you have seen the child or the adolescent following this duration for consecutive 3 months and the behavior occurs at least twice a week. अब यहाँ हम at least की बात कर रहे हैं, यानी कम से कम हफ्ते में 2 बार, उससे ज़्यादा जितनी बार हो, लेकिन कम से कम 2 बार होना लाजमी है. अगर 1 बार हो रहा है, even then you can diagnose this disorder. And the second condition DSM is giving, और यहाँ 3 months का भी जहन में रखना है कि अगर for example 3 months से कम है, even then you can diagnose and you'll give a chance if the child improves or if the symptoms goes away. Because let me clear you why we are focusing or emphasizing on these duration some criteria is that sometimes it's related to some temporary stressor, कि symptoms जो हैं वो किसी temporary stressor या reason की वजह से आ रहे हैं और वो गायब हो जाएगा तो फिर symptoms खुद ब खुद चले जाएंगे. So we have to wait for that. And the second criteria you have to follow is that urination problem is causing distress or impairment in child's social or academic functioning. कि जब तक वो symptoms उसकी social और academic या उसकी daily life functioning को hamper नहीं करेंगे, उसमें रुकावट नहीं डालेंगे, उसमें problems नहीं create करेंगे, you cannot straightforwardly go for a diagnosis in this case. I would repeat, for diagnosis 2 things are very important. First one is regularity for at least twice a week for 3 consecutive months, and then that urination problem is causing problems or distress in child's social and academic functioning. Okay, moving on, we'll discuss some causes. Now, causes could be psychosocial stresses such as recent moves such as sexual abuse, conflicts in the family and positive family history. ठीक है कि अगर बच्चा जो है या adolescent जो है he has been sexually abused या फिर उसके family problems हैं या कोई parenting problems हैं, कोई abusive घर का माहौल है, and also if somebody in the family had this disorder in their childhood, like either his parents or somebody in the immediate family or extended family, even that could contribute to the child in developing this disorder. So basically these are the main causes. It could be sexual abuse, conflicts in the family, family issues, parenting problems, conflicts, or it could also be daily life conflicts, like if it's very harsh for the child, the life is very harsh for the child, all these things are going to contribute to the development of the disorder. Okay, now we're going to discuss some associated features. Now what associated features are, that when this pathology is going to occur, it's not going to occur alone, it's not going to be in isolation. Along with this pathology, the child or the adolescent will also suffer some other things. Now what are those other things or associated features is, okay, first of all class, we need to understand the disorder. Obviously enuresis is like the child is passing urine at inappropriate times or inappropriate places. And obviously when he is showing this behavior, this causes embarrassment and shame for him. People around him are looking upon him, they are considering him dirty, they are teasing him, and it's very highly possible that the child is bullied by his social group, by his peers. So this is one of the associated features, that shame, embarrassment and being bullied. The second is from the caregiver. अब केयर गिवर से क्या होगा कि ज़ाहिर है अगर एक बच्चा बार बार जो है वो ये काम कर रहा है, इस तरह का बिहेवियर शो कर रहा है, तो जो उसका केयर गिवर है, उसका कोई पेरेंट हो सकता है, मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस इट्स अ पेरेंट, और एनी अदर केयर गिवर जो उसका ख्याल रख रहा है, जो साथ में उसके साथ रहता है, उसके लिए ये कितना प्रॉब्लमेटिक बिहेवियर होगा उस बच्चे का. अब उस प्रॉब्लमेटिक बिहेवियर, बच्चे के प्रॉब्लमेटिक बिहेवियर की वजह से ऑब्वियसली दैट पर्सन इज़ गोइंग टू रिएक्ट. And how is he going to react? He's going to react with anger. He's going to punish him. He's going to reject him. And sometimes he's not going to fulfill all other developmental expectations. यानी अगर जैसे बच्चा कोई घूमने की बात कर रहा है या कोई लेजर एक्टिविटीज़ की बात कर रहा है, तो अब गुस्सा उस बिहेवियर पे है और उसकी वो बात नहीं मानी जा रही. ठीक है, all these things, और इसकी वजह से the child is going into other psychological problems, such as he could be depressed, he could be anxious, he could have low self-esteem. All those things are associated with these disorders. Okay, moving on to treatment options. Now we're going to discuss the different treatment options, what which can be suggested or used with these children. Okay, while class planning or applying or using any treatment methodology, the first thing you need to keep in your minds is that treatment is not typically recommended in children under age 5 years. Why this recommendation you have to follow is that under the age of 5 years बहुत सारे चेंजेस आ रहे हैं बच्चों के अंदर. उनकी डेवलपमेंटल पीरियड चल रहा है, उनकी टॉयलेट ट्रेनिंग हो रही है. हो सकता है कि टॉयलेट ट्रेनिंग ही सही ना हो रही हो और आप फ़ौरन जो है वो डायग्नोसिस और ट्रीटमेंट तक चले जाएं. सो इट इज़ हाईली रिकमेंडेड कि 5 साल से पहले आप जो है वो ट्रीटमेंट पे काम नहीं करते, या ट्रीटमेंट के लिए until and unless the conditions are very serious. Even then it's not recommended if the conditions are very serious, because till the age of 5 the child is still learning and developing, and there are high chances that he might get rid of these behaviors naturally. Okay, दूसरी चीज़ ये कि ट्रीटमेंट को आप उस वक्त शुरू करेंगे जब वो इंडिकेशन इस चीज़ की आने लग जाए कि ये बिहेवियर जो है वो चाइल्ड की एकेडमिक और सोशल फंक्शनिंग को ख़राब कर रहा है. ये हम पहले भी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं कि उस वक्त जो है आप ट्रीटमेंट की तरफ फोकस करना शुरू करेंगे, या प्लान करना शुरू करेंगे, या अप्लाई करना शुरू करेंगे. ओके, द थर्ड थिंग इज़ व्हेन यू आर प्लानिंग ट्रीटमेंट इज़ कि आप ऑर्गेनिक कॉजेज़ को रूल आउट करेंगे. अब ऑर्गेनिक कॉजेज़ कौन से हैं? जो बायोलॉजिकल कॉजेज़ हैं. अगर फॉर एग्जांपल कोई यूरिनरी ट्रैक्ट में कोई प्रॉब्लम है, ठीक है, तो आप बिकॉज एक चीज़ ज़हन में रखिए, इफ़ द सिम्टम्स आर शोन ड्यू टू एनी बायोलॉजिकल कॉज सच एज it could be problems with muscles or something with urinary tract, then these problems are not your concern. Obviously some medical specialist is involved in that, and if the causes are of that nature, then psychological help comes to a later point. Okay, now when it comes to the psychological treatment, we'll start. What the psychological treatment options are? फ्लूइड रिस्ट्रिक्शन एट नाइट. ठीक है, कि आप रात को सोने से काफ़ी देर पहले, डिपेंडिंग कि उसका बिहेवियर की फ्रीक्वेंसी और इंटेंसिटी कितनी है, आप डिसाइड करेंगे कि रात को सोने से कितनी देर पहले जो है वो फ्लूइड इंटेक यानी पानी या लिक्विड का इंटेक आप बंद कर देंगे. दूसरा है बिहेवियरल ट्रेनिंग. बिहेवियरल ट्रेनिंग में ये कि यू आर मेकिंग हिम लर्न बिहेवियर्स कि ही हैज़ टू डू दिस एंड ही हैज़ नॉट टू डू दिस. देन इज़ टाइम डिवाइडिंग कि आपने उसको जो है वो ये सिखाना है कि कैसे इस टाइम पे ये करना है, इस टाइम पे ये करना है, एंड एट दिस टाइम ही इज़ गोइंग टू डू दिस. देन पेरेंट मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग विच इज़ फोकस्ड ऑन रीइंफोर्समेंट प्रिंसिपल, कि आप पेरेंट्स को जो है वो सिखाएंगे कि कैसे इस बिहेवियर को मैनेज करना है. एंड देन फाइनली यू कुड ऑल्सो यूज साइको एजुकेशन इन विच यू आर गोइंग टू काउंसल primarily the parents or the caregivers to how to handle not only the disorder but also the associated features of the disorder, कि कभी कभी आप सिर्फ disorder पे तो काम कर रहे हैं लेकिन उसकी वजह से जो वो इंसान या बच्चा जो चीज़ फेस कर रहा है उस पर काम नहीं कर रहे, तो यू नीड टू इंक्लूड दैट ऑल्सो इन योर ट्रीटमेंट प्लान. Okay class, by this we have finished enuresis and we've discussed what basically enuresis is. We've discussed its different types, we've discussed its causes, its associated features and also its treatment considerations. Now with this we come to our second type of elimination disorders, and that is encopresis. Now encopresis is exactly the same as enuresis, just with the difference कि enuresis में it was urine and in encopresis it's feces. That's the only difference. And simply encopresis occurs when the children or the adolescent, they are passing their feces repeatedly in inappropriate places and inappropriate times. ठीक है कि he is making his clothes dirty or passing the feces on floor or bed, something like that. Now we'll see types. Okay, now there are basically two types of encopresis. Enuresis की 3 types थी, encopresis की 2 types हैं. Keep these things in mind. अब encopresis की जो 2 types हैं, the first one is with constipation and overflow incontinence and the second one is without constipation and overflow incontinence. ठीक है कि जो 2 types हैं encopresis की, उन दोनों में फ़र्क सिर्फ constipation होने या ना होने का है और overflow जो है इनकॉन्टिनेंस वो दोनों में ही है. ठीक है, ओवरफ्लो इनकॉन्टिनेंस दैट इट्स नॉट अंडर द कंट्रोल ऑफ द चाइल्ड और द एडोलेसेंट. ओके, अब यहाँ पे जो ड्यूरेशन आपको दी जा रही है दैट इज दैट द बाउल मूवमेंट्स और द पासिंग ऑफ द स्टूल, इट शुड बी लेस देन 3 times in a week. ठीक है कि 2 टाइप्स हमने डिस्कस की, एक विद कॉन्स्टिपेशन है और एक विदाउट कॉन्स्टिपेशन है, कि एक कॉन्स्टिपेशन के साथ हो रहा होगा और एक कॉन्स्टिपेशन के बगैर हो रहा होगा. ठीक है, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस डिसऑर्डर, दिस डिफरेंस. और पहली दूसरी चीज़ जो आपने नोटिस समझनी है वो ये है कि इफ़ इट्स विद कॉन्स्टिपेशन, तो कॉन्स्टिपेशन में क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली द चाइल्ड इज़ कॉन्स्टिपेटेड, तो उसमें क्या है कि जो फीसेस का पास होना है या जो बाउल मूवमेंट्स हैं वो 3 times पर वीक से रिड्यूस हो जाएगी. ठीक है, और इस कॉन्स्टिपेशन की वजह से ही इज़ गोइंग टू पास लेस स्टूल उन मूवमेंट्स में, और जो बाकी स्टूल रह जाएगा वो बाकी दिनों में ही इज़ गोइंग टू पास, या वो पास भी नहीं करेगा, वो लीक खुद ही हो जाएगा. ठीक है, दिस इज़ बेसिकली encopresis and its types. Now we coming to the diagnosis, कि आप इसको diagnose जो है वो करते हुए किन चीज़ों का ध्यान रखेंगे, क्या क्राइटेरिया है. इसमें पहली चीज़ which is important to notice is that this behavior must occur once a month for at least 3 months. ठीक है कि महीने में कम से कम एक बार और कंसेक्टिवली 3 months तक हो रहा हो, यानी अगर महीने में एक बार नहीं हुआ या फिर कंसेक्टिवली 3 months तक ये बिहेवियर नहीं चला, कि एक महीना हुआ फिर दूसरा महीना नहीं हुआ फिर तीसरा महीना हो गया, इवन देन यू कैन डायग्नोज दिस. यू नीड टू हैव consecutively continuously 3 months duration and the behavior should be shown at least once a month. And the second thing DSM very clearly mentioned is that the child's age should be at least 4 years old, कि कम से कम 4 साल बच्चे की एज होना लाजमी है. 4 साल से पहले अगर वो ये प्रॉब्लम शो कर रहा है, यू कैन गिव हिम दिस डायग्नोसिस अगेन फॉर द सेम रीजंस, बिकॉज इट्स हिज डेवलपमेंटल एज. He is learning things, he is developing, and you are bound to give him this developmental margin before you reach to the diagnosis. Okay, now we are going to discuss causes. Okay, the first cause is basically it could be again the psychosocial stresses, abusive parenting, family issues, conflicts, and again the positive family history, कि someone in the family has been suffering from the disorders. and also other psychiatric disorders. Okay, sometimes another psychological disorder or a psychiatric disorder is leading the child to develop this disorder, and what those disorders are, it could be ADHD, it could be conduct disorder, or it could be autism. कि वो है इन डिसऑर्डर्स में, लेकिन और इन डिसऑर्डर्स की वजह से उसको जो है वो इनकोप्रेसिस हो गया है चाइल्ड को. दिस इज ऑल्सो अ पॉसिबिलिटी. And then we come to the treatment options for encopresis. The first one is behavioral therapy, in which you are going to alter the child or adolescent's behavior. ठीक है, कि आप उसको कोई रिवॉर्ड वगैरह दे सकते हैं कि जैसे अगर वो इस टाइम पे टॉयलेट जाए या इस टाइम पे he is following that plan which you are giving him, या इतना टाइम जो है वो टॉयलेट में लगाए, then you can give him some tokens or rewards, whatever things. It could be material things also, it could be praise also, which you and child mutually or by consent you're deciding. And then other treatment options could also be some medicines. For example, if it's related to constipation or overflow, you could also use some medicines to treat these things, constipation. And also some dietary changes, कि आप डाइट में भी कुछ इस तरह की चीज़ें डालने की कोशिश कर सकते हैं जिससे उसकी चाइल्ड की जो कॉन्स्टिपेशन है या ओवरफ्लो है वो चीज़ जो है वो मैनेज हो सके. Okay class, with this we come to the end of today's lecture, and basically if I give you a quick recap, today's lecture was about elimination disorders. We discussed what elimination is, then we discussed the things which elimination disorders would comprise. We had two main types of elimination disorders as encopresis and enuresis. We discussed both these separately with their further subtypes, their diagnostic specifications and their causes and their treatment options. And by the end of the lecture you have an assignment to submit. You have to explain types of encopresis and enuresis in your own words. Try to do that, and you have 10 marks for this assignment. You have to submit this assignment before your next class begins, and meet you in your online class for further discussion and questions. Thank you.